Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the bogey-free podcast for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I am your host, Evan Cheney. Today, joined by Matt and Anthony. How you doing today, guys?
What is up? Excited to have you back, Ev. Think it'll be a different show, a better show now that you're back in the saddle.
I hope I can add something because I've certainly been watching the show since my absence, and it's been a good show.
Well, then you know that I haven't been winning any money, so you're certainly welcome to bring money to the
show. Matt, what's up with you?
Oh, nothing. Just carrying on, trying to crush some cash games and stay afloat in GPPs, which has been the MO so far. And honestly, can we take like 30 seconds, like just please start playing showdown slates in golf.
Oh yeah.
Like for one reason they're super soft, and for another reason, like they suck right now. Like there needs to be more people playing them so that the prize pools go up. Like I know it's gonna kick in once like the players happens and like golf really gets into full swing, but just play some showdown this weekend. Like go to Fantasy National, the live stats, or go to the leaderboard and look around and just find a couple guys who are hitting greens and not making any putts and put together a lineup, because it's fun and it can keep you afloat if you were like way off on a guy for week long. That's my pitch for showdown.
I mean, I'd rather play showdown than the normal sometimes, just because of cuts.
For sure.
Deal with cuts.
Yeah, I mean, if they were offering like, I don't know, 80% or not, I know that probably won't ever happen, like 60 to 70% of what the prize pools are for a week long, like I would dial so far back for the whole week slate and just try to go after showdowns, because you have more information, you have current information, and it ends up working out pretty well most of the time. So make sure you're giving it a shot this weekend.
Yeah,
I'll probably be beating down your door for some help on that over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little better at like, getting those. It's tough. Like you can't write an article really about showdown because it's just like, it's up for 6 hours and it's already expired. But yeah, I want to get a little better at tweeting some thoughts out about that. If you're not following Kenny at Kendo VT from Fantasy Golf Degenerates, like that dude is like a magician with the showdown slates. So make sure you're giving him a follow if you're not already.
All right. Speaking of Twitter, let's shout out some of ours here. You can follow Matt at Matt Jones TFR, Anthony at A Amixta. And then myself at eChaney17. And let's talk about the listener league from last week. Matt, how did everyone do last week there?
Well, I did not do particularly well. I'm not sure where Amixta was. We didn't
not good.
We didn't have a strong showing, but Bullwire took it down with a solid lineup. Was one of, I guess, 6 people that had Rose, but he also had Adam Scott, and he also had Hideki. So like
goats. 1,
2, 3. Even with a 5 of 6, you're gonna win a lot of money that week. So good on him for getting those 3 guys in the same lineup. FinFan18, I think, was the only guy who got 6 through, if I'm not mistaken.
FinFan, so good.
He is so good. I don't even know who that dude is, but like he's always at the top of stuff. So, yeah, good on them. And yeah, make sure we fill this bad boy. I'll give you the details a little bit later, but Cut Sweats is tracking the listener leagues now, and we got to compete with the big boys. So let's keep up the good showing.
All right. So, with that all in mind, let's talk about this week's tournament. Now, Anthony, I'll throw it to you first. Talk about the course. Talk about any stats you might be looking at in order to build a player pool this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun course. We should see a little bit more scoring than last week, even though I thought last week's tournament ended up being, lower scoring than probably expected going in. But some of the key stats that really popped in my stuff this week was total strokes gained and double bogey avoidance. Those are really the 2 key stats that appeared pretty often in like all the stuff that I was looking at. So that's gonna carry, I'd say, a pretty heavy portion of the analysis for me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Matt, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, for sure. That definitely makes sense. For those of you that don't know, this is TPC Scottsdale, par 71, like a little bit over 7,260 yards. It's a little bit on the easier side. I think it was 31st out of 51 courses last year. And just a really fun like closing stretch. Obviously 16 is the famous stadium hole. That's a pretty cool atmosphere and everything else. But 17 I think is actually more fun to watch. It's a drivable par 4. There's always like an eagle chance there. If you go for it, it's a big risk reward. It can cause a lot of swings at the end of the tournament, or just, trying to make the cut, having to go for it and dumping it in the water, or, hitting it close on their tee shot. So really, really fun course. Good like pregame to the Super Bowl on Sunday. Like, it's going to be great.
Here for the Eagles. I am here for all kinds of Eagles.
Not the right.
At first, I thought you were talking about Super Bowl, but I was like, wait.
No. They have their day.
That was a good year, though, last year. I have a lot of good memories about that night.
Wait, are you an Eagles fan?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, I've lived in Philadelphia all my life, so.
Yeah, I don't care.
Sixers season ticket holder for 5 years. I mean, I have it all in my blood system here.
Yeah, it's full Philly brand for Ev. It's the one of the very few drawbacks to talking to him every week.
I mean, among others. So yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about some golfers for this week. We have some of our more cash game-esque golfers. Matt, I'll let you talk about some of your guys first. Who are some of these players in the top pricing range on DraftKings that you would be willing to target in a cash game?
Yeah, so the two guys that sort of popped in the first run of the ownership models, which of course you can find for free at the moment on RotoViz, so head on over there when it publishes tomorrow. The two guys that pop the most are Hideki up at 10.7 and Finau at 9,500 this week. Hideki obviously was 8K last week, which was just I thought kind of an egregious misprice, even though he wasn't necessarily like showing the best, the best part of his game. So he's going to be popular this week, and Finau obviously is always popular, despite the fact that his course history, for those of you, usually that drives that drives ownership quite a bit. So it's not very surprising, but it's a little bit surprising to me that he's shaping up to be as popular as I have him projected right now, because he's on a string of 3 missed cuts. People are, I guess, just latching on to the 22nd place that he had 4 years ago here and thinking that he's a different guy now than the last couple of years, which I guess I can get behind. So, I'm buying a little bit of Finau. And as far as Hideki goes, like, I think the ownership is going to be such that like we can pivot off of him to a couple of guys that we'll talk about later. But Anthony, are you willing to pay up for either of these guys with the ownership?
I mean, I'm definitely in on Hideki. I mean, he's a beast. Like, he crushes here. He withdrew last year with the wrist injury, but 4 straight top 5s at Waste Management. Yeah. Just to kind of counterbalance the Finau course history narrative. I am not going to play Finau if he's going to be chalk. Like I was doing today. I was talking today on my stream, like if he's going to be low owned because of the course history, then I would dabble. But I'm probably just going to avoid him if he's going to be chalky with the 3 missed cuts here. I mean, I think there's something to be said for like a course just like not suiting a guy, and this could be the case.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. I never will fade him, but I get it.
Well, that's your like adopted brother. So
yeah, good old Milton.
I mean, there's Finau at 95, and then there's Gary Woodland, who I imagine Gary Woodland will come up later on.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's correct.
I just want to double check, make sure I wasn't assuming anything there. So we'll hop down here to our next pricing tier, kind of in that 8 to mid 9K range. Same question: who would you guys be targeting in cash games here?
Yeah, again, as far as the ownership goes, Phil and Ricky are like significantly higher, I would say, ownership wise than everybody else in this tier. I haven't quite decided where I'm going with this yet. So, Amico, maybe you could talk for a second. And I need to either be talked into or out of it, but I don't feel strongly that I'm going to play both of these guys.
Well, I mean, Phil, I'm just like, I'm willing to be out on Phil early than late. Like, I don't think that the skills are there anymore. Like, I think he's eroding. So I'm just good with like never playing Phil when he's priced above 9K. Like, I just think that there's a lot of other good golfers in that range. Ricky interests me. I mean, he's really good here. In general, we had like hashtag ball narrative last week, but it was at a course he doesn't usually do well. So like, I don't want to give like a full judgment on finishing 66th. But the ball narrative thing is really my only question, because I mean, here the last 3 years he's been really, really good, and grades out pretty well for me. 70% chance of making the cut. I have him at where is he? 5th last year in total strokes gained. So I mean, that's one of the key stats, and it's probably the most important stat for me. And so I'm looking at Ricky. I mean, I have like some pretty interesting. Pretty much looking at like 2v2s in my main lineup this week, where it's like Ricky versus Kuchar and like Woodland versus Webb Simpson. Like, those are like key decisions. So I think that's kind of where you have to decide. I mean, I'm down to play Ricky at the ownership this week, just because I think he is a good play.
Interesting. All right.
Did I miss something on Adam Hadwin? Like, is there a reason why he's 9K?
You think it's too high or too low?
I just think it's a touch too high.
I mean, I'm not playing.
It's January,
so
everybody loves Hadwin. Through Florida, everybody is like just all over Hadwin. For what it's worth, he's I guess maybe it's a function of his price, but he's very, very much on the low end of ownership in the range that we're talking about right now. Yeah. So
no, I was just I didn't expect him to be so high in the pricing.
Yeah, I think some of that probably has to do I don't know. I mean, he's gotten ownership recently. Nothing crazy. I think that is part of the algorithm for DraftKings pricing. And obviously he played well last time out, which his only, his most recent tournament is as a second place finish. So I think if he was like 8,100, he'd probably just be like massive chalk. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't really have him rating out that highly for me as far as like upside goes, but
he has like by far the worst statistical profile in the upper range for me.
Yeah.
Not close.
All right. Anyone else we want to discuss here in this range here?
No, not in that range.
Okay.
Yeah. Evan, it's been a while for you, so I mean, I feel like the new show format's not you're not as into it. Like we've really just been going through like the pretty much like Matt's most projected in this range. So we're not really like we haven't really been bopping around that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
The hot takes come later.
Right, exactly.
I get
right.
that, yeah.
I feel like we're letting you down, but I want
to
let you know that there's a reason.
No, I just got to get back. I got to get back into the swing of things. All pun intended, of course.
Gross.
It's
all this time that I've been spending on Tinder lately. Just
gosh.
I have hot takes about Tinder if anyone cares to hear them.
for maybe for another show.
Anyway, so we'll move down here to the 7 to 8K range. Matt, go ahead. Talk about anyone you want to discuss here.
Yeah, so it's as of right now, it's Gooch and Steele popped a little bit for me. I don't know that necessarily like holds, but I guess we'll see. Gooch is obviously like just on a monster like heater right now. Last 2 weeks he's been 4th and 3rd. His last 2 starts. And he's actually, I looked it up before, since dating back to October, he's on a streak of 11 rounds in the 60s, which is pretty impressive. So he's definitely playing good golf. In the model that I put together, he has a pretty good shot at obviously making the cut, but his upside, I don't know if the fit is necessarily there for how I made my model this week. So he's a guy that I'm probably going to be out on this week. I think it might just be, trying to milk that cow for a little bit too long at this point. Amico, what do you think about Gooch?
I mean, I have no interest.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm never into like the mid-priced heater, like the guy's in great form. Like, don't get me wrong. He's obviously playing really well. I just like when it's 2 weeks in a row, that as per your model, like the people are going to flock. And we still don't really have a lot of evidence that would say that he's like a good golfer or like maybe better phrase, like a reliable golfer at this stage in his career. So I think just better off fading.
What an unfortunate last name, Gooch.
Or fortunate.
Well, according to dictionary.com, the word Gooch is it's not good.
It's not great.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I was just gonna say, as far as Steele goes, like I feel like it's pretty well documented at this point that I just don't ever get him right. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't really have any interest in him, to be totally honest. Like I don't know. I just think it's weird. I think maybe he's just being talked about a little bit right now, and it's gonna like fade off. And this was just like a first run type, like random pop in the model.
He grades out pretty well for me, but the current form is just not very good.
Right.
And that's a huge factor for me.
Right. Like the model that I have is based off like last 50 rounds. So it's longer term and it isn't really fit. It's not understanding like what missed cut, like outside the top 50 and a missed cut over the last 3 times we've seen him or whatever it was. So yeah, I'm good.
Would you say that current form, by the way, is like the most important thing? Like I feel like playing good golf currently is like a huge factor. Probably because it's like a mental thing, but I just feel like you need to like. I feel like with the guys that like aren't playing well are always like the hardest to trust, even if they're like super good course fits, like statistically.
Yeah, I'm sort of. I've been struggling with this a lot lately because I'm trying to build a model that I feel comfortable with and. Like I can repeat every week and just be like, all right, these are the inputs. This is how it's going to fit. And this is, I'm going to put X% on last 50 rounds and X% on last 12 rounds and X% on like everything they've ever done. I tend to lean more towards like repeatable, like long-term talent than I do like jumping on these guys at the last second. Like a Taylor Gooch does nothing for me right now. Like if I would have seen something 2 weeks ago and could have gotten on him, then sure. Like that's who I'm looking for. But I should
clarify. I should clarify that when I say recent form, I mean like 3 months of golf. Like current year, but not the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather go like very recent, like last 2 or 3 times we've seen them, and combine that with like a longer term how I feel about their talent, basically.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Obviously, that's subject to change as I screw around with the numbers and stuff. But for right now, I'm just sort of basing it on like a little bit longer term stuff, just because we're pretty young in the season right now. So
I feel that.
Yeah. And then the last guy that looks like he could be sort of popular under 7K is Joel Dahman.
Yes, Joel Dahman chalk week, exactly what I waited for.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Fuck. So it's so annoying because like I really do actually like him. Like I think he has a good game, and he's just one of these guys who like you do want to play like when he's playing well. Like he's a streaky guy, but I think it could be like I got greedy last year with him and stayed on him too long a little bit, and he's a little bit on the older side. I guess he's like young, like early 30s. So like I feel like we have a pretty good feel of what his career is going to be. So I'm curious to see how this season goes for him, because last year was sort of like his breakout stretch that he had. So if he can put together a couple of finishes, from now until like the Players, then I think that he's somebody that we could see like in the 8K range quite a bit in the midsummer. But I'm not sure that I'm going to buy in this week.
Never played here before, so I'm probably not playing.
That's fair.
Easy for me.
All right. So before we hop into the GPP pivots, I want to remind you guys you can get into the Listener League. It is it's already posted. 50-man, $5 to get in. Pays the top 3 like usual. Again, if I remember, it will be here on YouTube. It'll be in the iTunes description. And obviously it'll be, on our Twitters and whatnot. We're about 20 guys in already. So we got a little bit of work to do. So make sure you jump in and fill it up, and good luck this weekend.
All right, let's get into some hot takes. Just dying for this. All right. So we'll start at the very top here of the pricing range. Jon Rahm. I mean, he's a name that he's definitely he's the top price golfer for the week, 11.5. How are we feeling about him this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think ownership will probably end up flattening out more than it appears right now. For me right now, it looks like Hideki is going to be like significantly higher owned, which if that ends up staying as the case, like Rahm and JT have better performance in like the upside portion of my model. So I would just completely avoid Hideki and try to get the lower ownership. Basically, whoever's the lowest owned from out of those 3, I'm probably going to find a way to fit into, a significant amount of my lineups. What about you, Amico?
I'm all. You want me to talk about Rahm or somebody else?
Really anyone in this top range.
I think Rahm's fine. Like always Rahm. Like he's a good play,
and it's a home game for him.
Right, and it's a home game.
Arizona State, dude.
That's a thing, by the way. I think you probably mentioned this in your article, but that's one of the groupings on DK Sportsbook. You can pick it up there and see offer. Anyway, give me Webb Simpson. I mean, he's like statistically, he's like the ideal fit on this course. Not like super long off the tee, but 8th in total strokes gained last year, 13 in DK points, 12th in doubles avoided. So pure stud, doesn't 3-putt a lot, which is actually surprising me. And he's really good on like the longer par 5s, like the stuff that kind of like reflects not distance off the tee, but like distance scoring. So I like Webb Simpson a good bit. He's probably in the aggregate like the best like cash/GPP play I have in this section, because he comes out with like the best stat fit. So I have him 91% to make a cut. Yeah, I'm really comfortable there, and has a really good shot at like a top 10. So People aren't going to play Webb Simpson because of Woodland is like an automatic cut. He's like 200 above him. And then obviously have all these 10K guys that are going to be good plays. I like Simpson. And the fact that he missed the cut here last year would worry me a lot more if he didn't have like 4 other top 10s of this year.
I was actually going to say that exact same thing. Like, yeah, he missed the cut last year. And people are probably going to see that and just be like, no.
And he already has 2 top 10s in the last like 3 months. Like he hasn't played a lot of golf, but when he's been playing, he's been good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's not as good as Gary, but I get it. Do I need to even say like things about Gary anymore?
Well,
I feel like you should. I feel like you should for the sake of. Go ahead.
All right.
That was just beautiful.
That was like that commercial with the like the conference call on speakerphone. Everybody's like,
we didn't practice that.
Great radio.
Woodland's made like 18 straight cuts. It's like by far the most.
Just goading everywhere. Yeah. He actually, again, this is like, it's annoying because I think people feel like I like goose the numbers or something, but like he's second. Like the model that I built is basically to predict like a percentage chance of scoring 85 plus DraftKings points. Like that's sort of my threshold of like excellent, like great start. So he's tied with Rom at the same percentage chance for me at hitting 85 points, and he's only behind like List basically. So I don't make this stuff up. It's just what the math says, and it just keeps happening that Luke List and Gary Woodland keep fucking showing up. So I'm just gonna keep just hemorrhaging money on Luke List until he figures it out. But I agree with you on Webb. Like if he's gonna be lowest owned above 9,500, then I think you'd be crazy not to have him if you're doing like a 3-entry max, like throwing in one of those lineups. I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't think there's anyone else really to talk about there. So we'll kind of just jump down a little bit in the pricing tier, kind of your 8K to mid 9K range. Who are we talking about here? I mean, I don't have any extremely hot takes. I know, Matt, you're into some Luke List, as you obviously just talked about. But who else here? I mean, Matt Kuchar? I just saw his name.
Yeah, I'm not too in on Kuchar from like an upside perspective, but at 9,200 for cash, like for a cut maker, I think that's reasonable. The guys that I'm most interested in are Benyon popped really pretty significantly in the model this week, and outside of that, like I'm thinking I'm gonna play some Bubba, which I never do. So be like sufficiently concerned if you're playing Bubba this week.
Well, I'm always concerned anyway if I play Bubba.
Yeah, and
doesn't Bubba like hate it here?
What?
Isn't he like on record saying like he hates waste management or something?
Yeah,
like
but
that?
like what doesn't he hate? Like he's so fucking annoying. Like he hates everything.
I'm not saying it matters for me. I just think it's funny.
Oh yeah, no, he's just like a grump. Like he's like old man yelling at the cloud. Like that's just who he is.
I am probably in on Bubba, honestly, but he's not my favorite. I am riding the Billy Ho wave forever.
Yeah.
Into infinity. Like the model smashed him last week and did really well, and it wants to go right back to him this week. And I feel like I can't say no. I mean, he has great stat profile again, 28th in total strokes gained, 20th in doubles avoided, so he's doing really well there. Has a really high upside, so he's good to me in both cash and GPPs. And the current form and course history are basically good enough. Like they don't pop off the chart, be like, oh wait, big deal. But they also don't like kill him. Like he's made 4 straight cuts here, and he hasn't missed a cut yet this season. Like he's been a real good cut maker. Obviously the top 10 last week. So I think Billy Ho very trustworthy right now.
Yeah. Also, real quick, shout out Nick in the Nick Verone in the chat, saying that Bubba changed his mind and started liking the course over the last couple of years. So we're fine on that front.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, like
not a great range.
I think I'm pretty set. Like I don't know, man. Like I think I'm gonna really go pretty heavily on the guys that I like in here and not get too crazy jumping around in this range.
Yeah.
All in on the lower ranges though. All in on the 7 to 8K.
Oh yeah, because if you're gonna stack up on top price guys, you need some of these values. Now, let's talk about values. Anthony.
I mean, I know Jones is not gonna like this, but Keegan Bradley is a cut maker now.
Fucking
it's changed.
There's nothing
about Keegan that can change.
There's one fucking answer in this range, Anthony. There's one answer.
Wow.
Is it Sung Jae Im?
No, you know who it is. Stop it. All right, there's like 3 answers, but go ahead.
Yeah,
tell me your fucking tilt fest. Like Keegan's just gonna be like booed off of 16, and he's gonna go home and cry. Stop.
Keegan, first of all, has been fire. He's on like the same list as Woodland. Like he's up there with like consecutive.
How dare you, sir?
Consecutive cuts made. He's been killing it. Did you see?
I remember my first cut made.
Oh my gosh! Are you kidding? Listen. Keegan Bradley. I know you don't watch this show, but if you do, okay, just let it be known that I, Anthony Miko, Adam Meeksta on Twitter, am standing hard for you. Okay, and would gladly support you all weekend on 17 if you wanted to send me, because I believe in you and I know you're gonna crush it here.
Dude can't even get a top 25 though. Like he makes the cut, but
yeah, but who cares? He's in the 7K.
I don't even see him.
He 78. He should be like 8,500. He's made 14 cuts in a row. He's a good stat fit. He has decent course history. Okay. Like there's nothing. Like remove the name, and there's nothing to not like. And the only thing that you don't like is the name because you don't like Keegan Bradley. But I'm telling you that he's a good play, and I am locking it in.
I don't know.
Godspeed.
That's a rough one for me.
Lock it in.
That's tough.
Matt, who are one of these answers?
I'm just like just reeling right now. Like I don't even know. I don't know what's happening. Like I don't know what I did to get this kind of disrespect on the show that I started.
This is just new territory for us because we're not used to pro Keegan content.
Yeah, no, never. Like the whole first year, I don't think we ever fucking said his name.
No.
Like the second year, I mean, Jimmy is like pretty on board with the Never Keegan thing. Maybe he liked him every once in a while, but like this, like standing for Keegan, it needs to stop. Like he needs to miss the cut this week just so that you understand exactly what like going full Keegan means.
I refuse. He like DFL'd when I played him at the Tournament of Champions, and I'm still playing him again. I believe.
That's insane.
I respect it though.
As far as the actually good plays in this range, I will have a metric shit ton of Jason Kokrak again this week.
Shit ton.
He is like I think that my model is probably a little bit too distance heavy, but he's like I think he's like 7th in the model for upside purposes. And he's been playing good golf lately. So I'm gonna stay with him a little bit. Sung Jae Im, like we've joked, but I really think that kid is amazing. And I don't think it will be long before he's pretty standard at the top of the leaderboard. So I'll have a little bit of him. Outside of that, like Neiman, obviously, like I wrote him up for shut up.
It's just incredible to me. It's incredible to me that you're gonna go against Keegan Bradley, but the guy that's lost like 12 strokes gained putting the last like month, you're gonna play.
Have you met me? Do you think have I ever cared about putting? Come on, man.
Listen, there's not caring about putting, and there's just giving 0 fucks about putting. Can I say that on this show? Do we curse on the show?
Yeah,
I curse consistently on this show.
Like I just don't. I'm not doing Neiman. I'm not.
This is insane.
I love you, Matt. I hope it works out for you, but I'm not playing.
I can't see it though. Like, I can't see Joaquin Neiman doing well here.
No, you guys are crazy. When he goes on his tear, I'm gonna be insufferable for like a couple of months this year. He's just gonna like top 7 everything and just crush all your dreams. Outside of that, like a couple other guys, I know we've been sort of trying not to talk about too many guys. I think people are getting confused that like that it means that the only people we like at all are the people that we mention.
No, we're trying to have an efficient show, you know?
Right. Yeah. So, like just real quick, like other guys that I'm considering, like Keith Mitchell pops in the model as well. As far as upside goes, he's super volatile. Like he's probably as good of a chance to miss the cut as he is to like top 15. But if you're playing a GPP, I don't really care, and he's not going to be super owned this week. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like I'll have a Tway lineup. Ev, are you gonna sell us on Glover?
Or... Oh, I have to. I've been waiting for this. I've been trying to find stats to justify Lucas Glover, and the only thing I can find is that he's 26th in bogeys avoided. That's all I got. He's really not.
He's one of my favorite miscut bets of the week, Ev. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
He's like plus 220 to miss the cut, and I plan on betting it. So I just
no. Like, so I'll tell you a quick little story about my day. So I have a class where there's a professor that like he doesn't have a great grasp on the English language, so he's very easy to tune out. So I log into Fantasy National. I'm thinking like, okay, I got to justify Lucas Glover tonight.
I love this is what you're thinking about in class.
Yeah, there's these two girls next to me that they think I'm like nuts at this point. But that's besides the point. But so for an hour and 15 minutes, I'm on Fantasy National, looking up every single stat, going through every single, sample size, just any justification that I can to try to fit Lucas Glover in. I found his 26th of bogey avoidance, and that's it. I was disappointed.
If that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is.
He came in 43rd here last year. Well, I mean, you can't beat that, obviously.
Yeah. All right, Nick, I hate to keep bringing him up, but Nick is backing you up, Ev. So maybe I do need some Glover. Nick is like super sharp. For those of you that don't know, like give him a follow, and he is what I aspire to be one day when I grow up.
I want to give a little bit of love to two guys that are just fantasy kryptonite for me. I mean, Griot is just always in play for me in cash. Like he's just a good cut maker. Decent course history, but he's in really good form. Has never great stats, but good enough basically to have decent cut odds. And like Zach Johnson, this is like the second tournament already where he just like the stat profile is perfect, but like I just don't know like how good he is at golf right now. Like he's already missed 2 cuts in the past like couple months. He's only played like 4 events. He's missed cuts in 2 of them. So like he's not very reliable. I don't think I could recommend him as a cash play, but like in tournaments, I think he has a lot of upside.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't have any other strong takes here.
All right, I was get some cheapies.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Oh, baby. I've been waiting for this. Can I go first?
This is going to be so gross. I'm like genuinely concerned about this.
Brian Gay, 6,700. Just hear me out. 43rd last year in total strokes gained, 5th in doubles avoided. It was good there. Reliable, in my opinion, to make the cut here at 6,700. So like at 6,700, you make a cut. To me, you're good. Like if you make a cut at 6,700, you're gonna pay off. And Gay top 10 here last year, hasn't missed a cut at this event since 2012. Has been really reliable in terms of finishing well here. Missed a cut in his last event, but otherwise has been clean. So Brian Gay, ladies and gentlemen, 6,700, gentlemen.
I took a screenshot of Matt's face throughout the entire experience, and I might make it my new avatar on Twitter. That's all I have to say.
I just feel so betrayed. I want people to know this.
Yeah, I mean, just got to keep going with the brand. Stu Cink, like 6,700. Talk about cut makers. Like, come on, that's a much better play than Brian Gay.
Would you be willing to put Brian Gay against Stuart Cink on the board, the hypothetical board?
Yeah,
I feel really convicted about this.
Yeah, that's fine. What I don't even know. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Done. We'll recap this on next week's show.
Yeah. Yeah, he shows up pretty well as far as like just making a cut down here, like you mentioned, like 6,700. We are really just looking for cuts. So that I think Cink makes sense. Outside of that, like I think Trey Mullinax is probably going to be like a little bit owned, but I think that he has some definite upside potential as well.
Yeah, he was good last week.
Yeah, and I think the fit is arguably better now. And Anders Albertson, I think if you're going like wildly cheap, I don't usually go like below 6,800, but I think that Albertson could help me fit in like a couple of the guys up at the top that I really want. So somebody that I'm considering, but not sure that I'm totally sold on them yet.
Yeah, I vibe with it. Chris Kirk is basically the arbitrage Jack Johnson for me. Like,
ooh,
good stat profile. Like, looks like he should do pretty well here. Has done pretty well here in the past, but just like the current form is due to, like, he's missed 3 straight cuts. And there's no way you can play him in a cash lineup and sleep soundly at night. But in GPPs, let it rip.
Yeah. And then stone minimum, Matthew Wolf. Like all of the Matthew Wolf.
Well, I could not find anything out about this guy when I was doing it.
He's a goat. Like he's just the shit. Like Oklahoma State guy. Like just YouTube his swing and like just watch him just smash. Like he's very fun to watch. I think it'll be interesting to see how he shows up here, but I will definitely have like some lineup. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put it in yet, but some lineup with him in it because I think he's like the real deal too.
You want a controversial cut maker?
Oh boy.
Grayson Murray.
Can that be a show segment? Controversial cut makers. Yeah, I played Grayson last week, actually. I was pretty I was pleased with those returns. If I didn't play so much effing Cantley, I probably would have done pretty well.
Oh man, that was the worst. Hitting the fucking flag stick on the last hole on Friday was not fun.
It was very unbearable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fully out on Grayson. No thanks.
And that's the thing, no one likes him. And he doesn't care.
Right.
That's
one of the worst PGA Twitter accounts.
Oh yeah, the absolute worst. There's no. I don't think there's an argument outside of maybe like if you count like Kip Henley, like maybe he's the worst, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's not good. All right. Any other hot takes here?
I feel like the computer is about to light on fire. We've been hot.
Now we just gotta keep going. We have to, speaking of hot, we got to stay hot with these cash locks. I don't think any of my guys have missed a cut yet. So got to keep rocking. What do you
who do you have then, Jones?
Yeah.
No, you're the guy. You're the stud right now. You're
like so much lead up to.
You're the one and done goat right now.
Oh my God. Fucking Adam Scott. Like just chef's kiss. Like just the goddamn best. Like in the big Gup one and done, 4 people had him and he came in second. Like what a goat. Like just just real moxie, you know, like just real impressive.
Yeah, I thought he had the belly putter back for a second.
Oh yeah, like dude, he's such a fucking cheater, but like, who cares? Like, it works. It's fine. If nobody else gives a shit, like, why should I give a shit? Like, if the officials don't care about that kind of stuff, I'm over it. Like, I know that's probably an unpopular take, but like, if they're not going to enforce fucking rules, then if it's that easy, then everybody just fucking do it and shut up.
Yep.
Sorry, that was a lot. That was a lot. A lot of.
No, I like it. I like it. I mean, you're nice and you're well lubricated now to give your 2 cash locks.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't fully decided yet. So I've been trying to go like a high and like a mid tier type deal. So I think Justin Thomas is just like, especially at his potential ownership as things stand right now, I think he makes like just an insane amount of sense. I think people will be kicking themselves for not playing him later in the week. And then I used List last week, so I don't want to do that again, but he's just super high on my model. Shit, man. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go Benny on. I'm gonna do it.
Nice. I am locking in Billy Ho, and I am locking in Keegan the mother effing goat.
I'm gonna be so happy.
This is the week.
I'm gonna be dancing on your.
I'm just not used to so much Keegan optimism.
I know. I'm gonna be dancing on your goddamn grave on Friday afternoon.
I'm resetting the show juju on Keegan Bradley this week. Like, it is happening.
That's not a thing. There's no reset. You can't reset something that didn't fucking exist ever. Like, that's not how a reset works.
No, because then if Keegan actually starts doing good, we got to like change the name of the show, change the logo. We got to change everything.
I'll just delete all the old episodes and just be a Keegan guy at some point.
And of course, I got to get rid of my closet. Got to get rid of the closet behind me, and the bed that I set. Everything. I'll take Gooch and Webb as locks.
Ooh,
I think those are pretty decent guys this week.
I like it. Ballsy.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. This has been the Bogey Free podcast for the Waste Management Tournament. Again, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Make sure also to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes under Bogey Free DFS, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Bogey Free DFS over there as well. And of course, if we're not making all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contests this week.
See ya.
Keegan.
I'm editing that out.
Don't you